Hello everyone, just Goran here and welcome back to another Planet Zoo real life inspiration video, and today we are looking at the wild water buffalo, although I'm afraid there's not going to be that many wild water buffalo in this video, as most zoos do keep domestic ones, and we're actually going to look at some very domestic ones, I guess. But let's get started first with some zoos. So let's start with the Zoo of Berlin, where the water buffalo are being kept in kind of a classic zoo hoofstock enclosure, as you can see right here. It's not the biggest, they don't have that many water buffalo either, so it's probably fine for the most part. They seemed fine. They do have a nice pool over there all the way on the right, which is good for the water buffalo. It's good that they have some water. They tend to enjoy that, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, these are actually not even domestic water buffalo necessarily. These are the European water buffalo, the South European water buffalo to be precise, kind of a European breed. You actually see these in a lot of places in Europe, like in Parc Animalier de Bouillon, where they also have the South European water buffalo. And yeah, this is their enclosure. They've got a little separation area over there with some shelter, but there is actually a much larger enclosure behind that. As you can see, over here is a nice big gate for staff to access that, and there's a whole bunch of chopped down trees in there. I guess this used to be kind of part of the more foresty area of this zoo, but I don't know, they cleared out the trees, I suppose. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe the buffalo like to be in an open field. But yeah, that's it for Bouillon. Then let's move to Serengeti-park Hodenhagen, where we are in the car safari of the zoo, entering the Australia area. And I was surprised to find the water buffalo in the Australia area. And it's kind of a shame that they are in a car safari setting, because there's not a lot of education over here about the animals, which meant that I actually had to Google if there was any relation between water buffalo or water buffalo in general and Australia. And yeah, as it turns out, there's a lot of feral water buffalo in Australia that have kind of rewilded after being held as livestock. So that's a really cool detail that I didn't know about. It's kind of a similar case to the camels, and how you also find camels in Australia areas like in Zoo Park Overloon. And yeah, same can be done with wild water buffalo. That's really neat. And next up we have the Kathmandu Central Zoo, where they were actually signed as wild water buffalo. So I got really excited. But as I showed people some pictures of the water buffalo here, I was told they are most definitely domestic ones. You can tell because their legs are white. They are also much lighter in color in general. But yeah, still pretty neat. It's definitely an enclosure. It's got some interesting terrain around it, I suppose. But yeah, that's it for the Nepal Central Zoo. And next up we have Pairi Daiza, probably one of my favorite enclosures theming wise, but the enclosure itself isn't great. So over here we got a nice little grassy field. That's not part of the enclosure, and that's kind of part of the problem, I guess. The enclosure, you can see, is very distinctly identifiable by the substrate over here, this kind of bark flooring. This is a shared enclosure with the Vasai and warty pigs, and you can see some water buffalo lying over there in the back. And yeah, the enclosure just isn't all that big over here. Like, it's a decently sized enclosure. It just could be so much bigger, and there's so much space being used up there in the back for these kind of fake rice fields, which look really cool. But it's a shame that there's about as much space for theming as there is for the animals right there. I would much rather see something like Tier- und Freitzeitpark Thüle, where we have a lot more space for the animals. As you can see right over here, we've got a lovely huge yard over here, a very simple fence, and actually you can get really close to the animals if you wish. There is some hot wire on the other side of the fence to make sure that the animals don't get too close to you. But yeah, just really simple enclosure, but so much space. It's great for the animals. And then over here we've got a lovely little themed shack, which is kind of like a barn that you would find in the areas these animals come from, I suppose. There's even this plow, I guess, that would be drawn by these water buffalo in Southeast Asia. So that's just a really cool bit of education there, really cool theming. I absolutely love this. From over here you can also see where their actual barn is, because this one's just a viewing area, and here we have a view inside of that barn as well. So we even got some water buffalo backstage over here for you. So yeah, really cool enclosure. There's actually even more to it to the left over here, and there's a little gate that gets into the enclosure. So yeah, really great enclosure for what is otherwise a pretty simple zoo. So a nice surprise right there. And we've got one more zoo to look at, which is the Zonnegloed Animal Sanctuary, where they have a bunch of water buffalo rescues. And yeah, over here you can see kind of a bit of food storage, but here's our first view into the enclosure. And we also have some signage about the history of these animals. Basically, there are 4 water buffalo here, and they were all rescued from a place that was illegally keeping all sorts of animals in France, and eventually the French authorities came in and rescued these animals, and eventually these water buffalo got placed here at the Zonnegloed. And a really cool fact is that, well, I will tell you the names of the water buffalo. We've got Appa, we've got Nala, Oogie, and Momo. And if that doesn't ring a bell, then maybe you should rewatch all of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Avatar: The Legend of Korra, because they're all the names of kind of the animal companions in those shows. So that's just really awesome right there. Now you may be wondering, Goran, you've been to Nepal. Did you see any wild water buffalo right there? No, just domestic ones. I was told there's only one area in Nepal that actually has a wild water buffalo. It's not the area I visited, but yeah, I did see some domestic along the river here. Also, when I was in India, I did see some water buffalo as well over here. They were just on the road. We saw them all the time, along with regular cows. There were domestic water buffalo. So yeah, here's some domestic water buffalo habitat inspiration for you, I guess. It's literally just a city. Now, my sister also went to Southeast Asia, and she saw a lot of water buffalo, as you can see right over here. I'm pretty sure these are also domestic, chilling around some farmland over here. You can also see a lot of the farms that she visited, actually. Yeah, tons of rice fields where these water buffalo are used as beasts of burden. But yeah, just look at those amazing views right there. Really cool stuff. And over here, we can also see the water buffalo in action, doing their work, plowing the land, or whatever they might be doing. And then over here, as my sister was on a little boat tour along some river, I think she did see actual wild water buffalo right there. But Southeast Asia isn't the only place you can find buffaloes on farms. There are actually several buffalo farms right here in the Netherlands. And we are looking at the Stoerderij over here, a buffalo farm in Zonnegloed. It's actually the place I was born, believe it or not. So you know I had to go and give it a visit. We can see a very nice big dunghill over there, and a lovely path along the meadows where these buffalo are grazing, so you can get a great view of them. So over here is kind of a holding area where the buffalo are close to the stalls and where they can be let out into the field. There's some text on the tree that's basically explaining the rules of visiting this place, which is it boils down to don't go out into the field. You will probably get trampled by some buffalo if you do, which is a pretty good rules, I would say. Here you can see how the buffalo have trampled all of the mud over there as they got into their meadows. But look at this. Look at how much space they have. I know there's probably going to be at least a couple of people that are going to be upset with this, because yes, these are farm animals. They are being farmed for food. So I do hope that this segment doesn't come off as too tasteless to include it in a video like this. I'm not sure. I just really enjoyed my visit here, and I feel like the buffalo probably have a pretty good life, all things considered. But yeah, I understand if it's upsetting. I didn't buy anything myself here, mostly because I didn't bring a cooler, so I had to drive home like an hour through 30-degree heat. And I didn't want anything I bought to spoil. I would have loved to buy some cheese, especially some paneer. They sold paneer here. I don't know if you know what paneer is, but it's like Indian cottage cheese. It's really good. I would have loved to have gotten some, but yeah, couldn't buy any. I haven't gone back here since, but I kind of want to. There are also other buffalo farms that I could visit, but I don't know why. I just really like the Stoerderij, probably because it's such a dumb name. It's like the tough farm is basically what it roughly translates to. But yeah, as you can see, I had a great time here, petting the buffalo, visiting the buffalo, getting licked by the buffalo. that was certainly interesting. But yeah, those are all the buffalo related things that I have to show you guys. Hope you enjoyed and got some wild water buffalo inspiration. Big shout out to my members, especially Augustin091, our latest member who joined a few days ago. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Bye bye!